6 months ago, Priya did something most people never do. She looked at a bank account, really looked at it, not the quick anxious glance most of us do before looking away. She sat with it, every transaction from the past year, the lifestyle creep, the social spending, the constant chase for more, everything we have talked about across this entire series. She saw it all laid out in front of her in black and white. And here is what made Priya different from the most people who have this exact moment. She did not make a budget, she did not download a savings app, she did not promise herself she will do better. Because Priya already knew something most people never learn. None of that works, not long term, not really. You cannot logic your way out of a problem that was never about logic in the first place. So instead, Priya did something different. She asked herself one question, a question we are going to give you today. And within 6 months, without a single budget app, Priya had changed her relationship with money more than a decade of failed financial resolutions ever had. Here is something the financial advice industry does not want you to know. The vast majority of New Year financial resolutions fail within 90 days. Not because people are weak, not because they lack discipline. Because budgets and willpower based strategies are fighting the wrong battle entirely. Remember what we have learned across the series. The hedonic treadmill is not a discipline problem, it is biology. Lifestyle creep is not a spending problem, it is psychological adaptation. The social spending trap is not a weakness, it is evolutionary wiring around belonging. So when someone hands you a budget spreadsheets and tells you to just spend less, they're asking you to use willpower to override millions of years of evolution. Every single time you make a financial decision, forever. That is not a strategy, that is a war you cannot win through force. Psychologists who study behavior change have known this for decades. Research on habit formation consistently shows that willpower is a depletable resource. It runs out every single day. Let us go back to Priya. Priya is 33. She lives in Seattle, Washington. She works as a project manager for a software company. For 10 years, Priya had tried everything. Budgeting apps, spreadsheets, the envelope method, a financial podcast. Every single attempt followed the same pattern. Excitement for the first few weeks, then slowly old patterns returning, then guilt, then giving up, then trying something new 6 months later, same cycle, different app. But that night, looking at her full financial history laid out in front of her, Priya asked herself a question she had never actually asked before. Now how do I spend less, not how do I save more? She asked who I am trying to become with this money, not what shall I do, who am I trying to become, and the answer surprised her. She realized she had spent 10 years trying to become someone other people would be impressed by, someone who looked successful, someone who kept up, someone who never seemed behind. She had never once asked who she actually wanted to do and be for herself. That single distinction changed everything. Because behavior change research shows something remarkable. People who try to change behavior through identity, through becoming a certain kind of person, succeed at dramatically higher rates than people who try to change through willpower or rules alone. So why does identity-based change work when willpower consistently fails? The answer lives in how your brain actually forms habits. Every behavior you repeat consistently becomes wired into what psychologists call your self-concept. Your brain is constantly asking one underlying question with every decision you make. Is this consistent with who I am? When you're trying to change behavior through willpower alone, you're fighting your existing self-concept every single time. Your brain says, I'm not someone who saves money, and then willpower has to override that belief in every single moment of temptation. Exhausting, unsustainable, destined to fail eventually. But when you change your underlying identity first, the behavior stops requiring willpower at all. It simply becomes consistent with who you already believe yourself to be. This is sometimes called identity-based habit formation research, popularized by behavioral scientists studying long-term habit change. The principle is simple but profound. You do not need more discipline, you need a different identity. Here is how this applies directly to everything we have covered in this series. The hedonic treadmill loses power when your identity is not built around chasing more. Lifestyle creep loses power when your identity is not built around appearing successful. The social spending trap loses power when your identity is not built around belonging through spending. And the more is always better belief loses power the moment you consciously choose a different defining belief for yourself. Now here is something important to understand about why this actually works long term. The financial industry profits from you needing their solution forever. Budgeting apps need you to keep budgeting. Subscription-based financial tools need you to keep subscribing. There is no profit incentive in an industry built around helping you achieve genuine permanent psychological change. Because permanent change means you need to stop needing the product. This is why most financial advice keeps you in a cycle of constant management rather than actual resolution. Identity-based change is different because it requires no ongoing product, no subscription, no app. Once your identity shifts, the behavior change becomes self-sustaining, which is exactly why you have probably never heard this explained clearly before. There is no financial product to sell built around the idea of simply deciding who you are, no subscription fee for self-definition, no app required to choose your own values. This is the one piece of financial advice that costs nothing and profits no one but you. So how do you actually start this process yourself? Here is exactly what Priya did and exactly what you can do starting today. Step 1. Ask yourself the question she asked. Not what should I do with my money, who am I trying to become with my money? Sit with that question honestly. Write down the answer if it helps. Step 2. Identify the gap. Compare who you are trying to become with how your current spending actually behaves. Where does the gap show up most clearly? Step 3. Choose one small identity statement, something like I am someone who values security or I am someone who has defined enough. Keep it simple. One sentence you can return to repeatedly. Step 4. Let decisions follow the identity, not the way around. Every time a spending decision arises, social pressure, lifestyle upgrade, temptation, the urge for more, ask the identity question first. This will not feel dramatic at first. It will feel quiet, almost too simple. But across 6 months, the way it changed Priya's relationship with money entirely, quiet and simple, is exactly what permanent change actually looks like. Not a dramatic overnight transformation. 1,000 small decisions, each one slightly more aligned with who you actually want to be. You now have the complete broke cycle framework, the hedonic treadmill, lifestyle creep, the social spending trap, the more is always better belief, and now the identity-based path toward actually changing your relationship with all four. But there is one thing left to do: bring it all together. See exactly how these four forces interact with each other in real American lives and understand the complete picture of why financial peace feels so difficult to find in this country. Broke Cycle episode 6 is our series finale. Everything connects, everything makes sense, and for anyone just finding this channel for the first time, episode 6 is going to be the perfect place to understand everything we have built across this entire series in one single video. See you next time.